Good morning, researchers. I am Ms. Mary V. Goc-Ong, and this morning I am going to share with you my study entitled Critique Mastery, Utilizing Philosophy-Based Language Teaching Approach in Enhancing the Writing Skills of High School Students. Writing plays a key part in language production and fosters global knowledge communication of the students. However, there are reports of students writing problems in English classes. According to Nasser 2019, there were Iraqi EFL students who struggled with academic writing composition in terms of grammar, spelling, and content. It actually mentioned two concerning reasons that the EFL students faced. First, EFL students have low writing proficiency in English course, and second, the students showed inadequate writing skills. Bringing in philosophical principles like logic, ethics, and logical argument into the curriculum, students will definitely develop a more structured and in-depth thinking. And this mode of teaching not only helps them with writing, but also builds their ability to critically interact with texts, which is also considered as an important part of their academic success. And the proposal of this strategy in high school writing classes can fill gap in moving from the basic writing skills to highly analytical ones that are expected when they get into university or in their future workplace. Further, implementing this innovative approach can improve the academic achievement of students and preparedness for future challenges. For innovation, intervention, and strategy, to implement this innovative approach, the following interventions must be done. First are the critical reading sessions where students will analyze philosophical texts and critiques. Second are the writing practice writing critiques using philosophical principles. And the third one is the integration of philosophical and literary texts, such as works by contemporary philosophers and other writers, which will serve as models for critique writing. And lastly, we also have the philosophical reflections, which will allow students to form a reasoned evaluation and connects such topics to philosophical principles, making the learning more meaningful. The strategies for implementing this intervention actually involves two, the curriculum designing and teacher training. First is to collaborate with curriculum designers to integrate TBLT into the existing reading and writing syllabus. This will include mapping out specific learning objectives, selecting appropriate philosophical texts, and designing assessment rubrics that reflect the emphasis on critical thinking and argumentation. The second one is to provide professional development for teachers to equip them with the knowledge and skills necessary to teach PBLT in critique writing. This includes workshops on philosophical concepts, teaching strategies, and assessment methods. For the research questions, the study aimed to resolve some issues in students' critique writing skills in their reading and writing classes. Specifically, this research aimed to answer the following questions. First, to what extent will the implemented strategies improve students' ability to write effective critique writing papers in their reading and writing classes? And second, will the students demonstrate a deeper understanding of the text they're critiquing after participating in the action research project? Now, the researcher used a qualitative classroom action research since the current research aimed to enhance the critique writing skills and knowledge of the students, develop effective critique writing skills, and um, and enhance the writing and implement the writing strategies that can improve students' performance in their reading and writing classes. Further, it can also help the teachers to better understand complex classroom contexts and gain deeper perceptions into their students' learning experiences. The participants of the study were actually the 30 senior high school students currently enrolled in a private institution here in Davao City under the strand of Humanities and Social Sciences during the second semester of the academic year 2023 to 2024, and all are accommodated in one section as the research is a classroom-based action research. And these participants were actually selected using purposive sampling, since the researchers selected them as a class since they had the exposure and interest in writing different academic texts. Further, the participants of this action research were currently enrolled in reading and writing classes. For the methods, before conducting the intervention, a needs analysis was actually executed through different students' work samples like think, pair, share, sentence completion activity, and philosophical reflection regarding writing critiques. And after the needs analysis, the researcher then did the initial document analysis through reviewing the data collected from the needs analysis result. And before the lesson started, the researcher conducted the pre-writing tests as part of the writing workshop. And during the discussion, the intervention was actually made, and the researcher was able to provide targeted instruction and resources based on student challenges. And after the discussion and intervention, the researcher conducted a post-writing test to the participants, and the researcher collected the papers and had it checked by another English teacher. For the results and discussion, in order to answer research question number 1, to what extent will the implemented strategies improve students' ability to write effective critique papers in the reading and writing classes? Table number 1 here, as shown here in table number 1, the summary of the pre-writing test scores of the students with the 6 different components, namely thesis statement, argumentation, evidence and support, organization, language and style, and critical thinking with 10 points each component for a total of 60 points. And as you can see in the pre-writing test scores, it has a general average or mean score of 27.8. And as shown in Table 2, the summary of the post-writing test scores of the students with the same component and the same total number of score, it has an average of 45.133. And the pre-test and the post-test scores provided a clear, as shown in Tables 1 and 2, provided a clear indication of the extent to which the implemented strategies had improved students' ability to write critique papers. And the overall mean score, as shown earlier, from the pre-writing test score of 27.8 in the pre-test, it actually improved into 45.133 in the post-test. And this improvement was observed across all evaluated components: the thesis statement, the argumentation, evidence and support, organization, language and style, and critical thinking. In order to answer research question number 2, will the students demonstrate a deeper understanding of the text they are critiquing after participating in the action research project? The researcher used a paired t-test, paired samples t-test. Now, Table 3, as shown in Table 3, the results of the paired t-test. So we have here thesis statement. All of the 6 components actually resulted into less than 0.001 with a p-value of less than 0.001. Therefore, it was found out that all of the criteria mentioned earlier were found to be significant with a p-value of 0.001 in enhancing the critique writing skills of the senior high school students. And the overall results indicated that implemented strategies significantly improve students' ability to write effective critique papers with substantial gains in all evaluated components. And the researcher also conducted a document analysis, and here are the results. So we have here, for example, in the component, the thesis statement. So during the pre-test, many students struggled with articulating clear and concise thesis statement. But during the post-test, there is a significant improvement, with most students presenting clear, specific, and focused thesis statement that effectively outline their critiques. Another example would be the organization, but during the pre-test, papers often lack a coherent structure with ideas presented in a disorganized manner. But during the post-test, organizational improvements were evident, with students presenting their ideas in a logical sequence. Now, going back, a qualitative analysis which was done by the researcher during the writing workshop showed that students move beyond surface level observations to explore underlying themes, assumptions, and implications of the text. And overall, they demonstrated an ability to question the author's arguments, consider alternative perspectives, and draw connections to broader philosophical concepts. Another thing, we also have here the results of the classroom observation, which was made during the critical reading sessions, and it was revealed that students were more actively engaged in discussions about the text. They asked insightful questions and were able to articulate their thoughts more clearly, showing an increased depth of understanding. Here are the observations made by the researchers. So for the classroom engagement, there is an increased student participation in class discussion, especially during philosophical reflection sessions. Also, the student collaboration, effective collaboration during the critical reading sessions and writing workshops with students providing constructive feedback and engaging in meaningful discussion about their critiques. The third observation is the application of philosophical concepts, where students frequently referred to philosophical principles discussed in class while writing their critiques. And the fourth observation was during writing workshops. There is an active participation in writing workshops with students diligently working on drafting and revising their paper. And there is a noticeable improvement in the quality of drafts over the course of the workshop. For the conclusion, the findings suggest that the Action Research Project successfully deepens students' understanding of the text they are critiquing. And the PBLT approach facilitated this by encouraging critical thinking, reflective analysis, which are essential for a comprehensive understanding of complex text. And as part of the recommendation of this study is the action plan. Since this action plan was found to be significant and effective in improving students' writing skills when writing critique papers. So the researchers suggest or recommend that the future researchers can make use of this action plan as well as the teachers in enhancing their students' writing skills when it comes to enhancing their critique writing skills of the students. And that would be all for my presentation this morning. And thank you so much for listening. Once again, I am Ms. Marivi Goc-Ong, and good morning.